However, the MFTs may have some challengers in their sights. There were a bunch of segments that did not make the show. They did not make the air on Friday night. There was all of this exclusive content that they posted to their YouTube channel that was either left off the show or was supposed to be on the show and got cut for time, as was the case with Paige's segment. And Paige was not happy about it. There was an early spoiler lineup that was circulating online that had a Paige promo listed, even though she was never publicly advertised for the show. It was scheduled to air right before the women's U.S. title match. And in it, she was backstage cutting a promo on Nikki Bella while they spliced in footage of her and the Bellas and then turning on her at SummerSlam. And the cameraman kept panning down to her chest for some reason here in this promo. The cameraman was very distracted. He was very horny the other night. But after SmackDown ended, Paige tweeted LOL, which, because her segment didn't air, it got cut, which led to Nikki Bella responding, "What was that, Saraya?" Well, she tagged her at Saraya. "What was that, Saraya? I think I missed what you said." And Paige replied, "You'd think that you would want women to have segments instead of being cut. You've always been full of shit. It's all right. I'll just see you in person next week." And Nikki responded, "I mean, at this point, hopefully." So that was one segment. There were 4 more that never made the show, all of which were posted online. We now know who Shinsuke Nakamura has been teasing as his new partner to take on the MFTs. We got another Nakamura video promo with English subtitles, but in this one, there's a silhouette behind him that is clearly Hiromu Takahashi, the former 5-time junior heavyweight champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Nakamura also said he's bringing in a partner that is chaos and a time bomb. So if it wasn't already clear that it was Hiromu, that pretty much seals it right there. So they're going to be working with the MFTs, and that'll be the big tag team feud, I guess, on SmackDown. Yeah, the fact that Priest and Truth are no longer champions at least frees up Damian Priest to do something else. I just don't know what that would be. In another segment, Nick Aldis was talking to Blake Monroe, and he's telling her that, you've been getting a lot of the women backstage all riled up. I've been getting a lot of complaints from them about you, and it's time for you to make your debut in the ring. And she agreed, and she said, I even have a match that I can suggest. Me against Chelsea Green for the Women's Championship. Julia walks in, and they make a match for this coming Friday between Blake Monroe and Julia. So Blake is finally arriving. She's finally making her official debut in ring after months of doing absolutely nothing. Julia is already cooked. So this is not going to change anything for her. This is not going to go any differently for her. But at least she'll actually be on the show. Then there was a backstage segment with Ricky Saints and Fraxium. I forgot all about Ricky. Ricky and Fraxium. And then there was another backstage segment with The Miz and Kit Wilson. They're back to normal health again. They're on the other side of the Danhausen curse. And they ran into Matt Cardona, who was nursing his wounds from the beating he took from Gunther. They were insulting Cardona. He got up in Miz's face. Miz told Kit Wilson, look, timing is everything. And they backed off. And some people are clamoring for 3 hours of this shit. There was a whole discourse on social media the other night about this. Oh, they need to go back to 3 hours. My God, look at all the segments that got cut from the show. All you people who complained about 3 hours, and now you're complaining that there's not enough time for all of these segments. Not me. You won't get any complaints out of me. Speak for yourself. It's on them to make sure the key stuff is included in the actual show. And there's nothing wrong with rotating faces out week to week. It doesn't mean they can't format a coherent television show and feature the people they need to feature at 2 hours. They absolutely can. There's this fallacy that the show must be 3 hours long. The roster is bigger. The show has to be 3 hours long. No, it doesn't. And their television isn't good enough to support the show being 3 hours every week. Do you watch the same show that I watch? This week was actually better than the average episode of Smackdown, but this is not the beginning of like a trend or anything like that. Like, do these people watch the fucking show every single week? Like, yes, certain people will not be on the show as much. And yes, we're not going to get a lot of long wrestling matches like maybe we were getting at 3 hours. But SmackDown sucked at 3 hours. And there were still people who couldn't fight their way onto the show even then. Even then, it's not like everybody was being featured. If they want to boost their social views and post some digital exclusives each week, then so be it. And there's some faces like Carmelo Hayes and like Julia who I think might benefit from a move to Raw anyway, because they're creatively cooked on Fridays. And on Mondays, they'll have an extra half hour to play with on Netflix, right? Give or take. But I will never approve of a 3-hour weekly SmackDown. I know it's coming back in January. There's nothing I can do about it. It always comes back in January. That was also like in the news this week. Like, we don't fucking know the show is going back to 3 hours in January. But if it were up to me, the show would always be 2 hours. And I would lobby Congress to pass a law making it so that it can never be undone without a 2/3 majority of votes. Even the president himself or herself, whoever it is, would not have the authority to change it. I'd have it added as an amendment to the fucking Constitution. Even better, I'd have Moses reanimated to bring down new stone tablets with a new commandment etched in, "Thou shalt not covet 3 hours of SmackDown, and shall keep it to no more than 2 hours in length."